All right, today we're diving into a new cybersecurity platform called RansomEye, and it's built on a pretty radical idea. What if the best way to defend your network is to be ready for the moment it gets completely cut off from the internet? Let's get into it.
You know, it's a question that really gets to the heart of a huge vulnerability in modern security. Almost every advanced defense system out there, from threat intelligence feeds to AI analysis in the cloud, well, it needs to be online. But what happens when an attacker's very first move is to pull the plug, leaving your defenses totally blind?
And believe me, the stakes could not be higher. We're talking over $30 billion. That's the annual global cost of damage from ransomware alone. This isn't just some tech problem anymore. It's a massive economic crisis that's playing out on networks all over the world.
And the threat today is so much more than just simple ransomware. We're now dealing with this whole complex landscape of polymorphic malware that literally changes its own code to avoid being caught, really sophisticated nation-state attacks, and yeah, even threats coming from inside an organization. It's a constant multi-front war.
So, how do you even begin to solve a problem that big? Well, in this case, the answer didn't come from some giant corporation. It actually came from a single inventor who had a very specific vision for fixing this fundamental weakness in our digital defenses.
And that inventor's name is Gagandeep Singh Makhan. He's the one who developed the architecture, built the prototype, and filed the patent for RansomEye. He basically tackled this massive challenge all on his own.
And listen, this isn't just an idea scribbled on a napkin. It's secured intellectual property. The platform is officially a published patent in India, laying out the entire framework for this new approach. That gives it a really solid, legally recognized foundation.
So what is RansomEye? At its core, you can think of it as a complete defensive operating system. It's a single AI-powered platform that's built to protect against pretty much everything, from ransomware to insider threats. And its most critical feature? It can do all of this even if it's completely disconnected from the internet. Okay, that sounds really powerful, but how does it actually work? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the actual mechanics of how RansomEye is designed to defend a network.
The whole defense process is built on 4 really logical steps. First, it detects threats by analyzing behavior, not just signatures. The goal is to catch ransomware before it even starts encrypting files. Second, it correlates all the little alerts into one single attack timeline, mapping it to the industry-standard MITRE KillChain. Third, it automatically contains the threat, isolating infected machines. And finally, it analyzes the attack, giving you deep forensic reports. It's a complete automated cycle from detection all the way to response. But on top of that core defense cycle, RansomEye has some seriously powerful capabilities. For starters, it uses a local large language model. Think of it like having a private, offline version of ChatGPT just for your security team, so no sensitive data ever has to leave your network. It also uses deception, laying digital traps and decoys for attackers. And it covers the whole spectrum of threats, from malware all the way to insiders.
And that right there brings us to what is maybe the single biggest differentiator of all: the ability to do everything we just talked about in a completely air-gapped environment. This isn't just a cool feature, it's a fundamental shift in how we think about security architecture.
This really sets up the core conflict, the big debate in security today. On one side, you have almost every modern platform, which absolutely depends on the cloud for its brains. On the other, you have this air-gapped approach, which assumes the network might be isolated at any second and has to be able to defend itself, all on its own.
And when you actually compare RansomEye to the heavy hitters like CrowdStrike and Microsoft, the difference is just stark. Look at that very first row, offline operation. RansomEye is the only one on the list designed to be fully functional when it's air-gapped. Same goes for running its AI and LLM completely locally. Oh, and it's also the only one offering explainable AI, which lets analysts see exactly why the system flags something as a threat. That is absolutely crucial for building trust and making fast, accurate decisions.
So when you boil it all down, the competitive edge is this really unique combination: full offline power, AI that can actually explain itself, and having all the critical forensic and deception tools built right in, not sold as expensive add-ons.
Okay, so this isn't just some theoretical advantage. Let's connect this technology back to the real world and see who is on the front line needing this level of security, like yesterday.
The potential market here is just massive. While ransomware is causing over $30 billion in damage every year, the amount we're projected to spend to stop it is set to grow to over $200 billion by 2030.
That is a huge gap between the cost of the problem and the investment, which tells you there's a huge demand for better solutions.
So where is that demand most critical? Well, think about sectors where disconnecting is part of the security plan. We're talking about a defense lab working on top-secret projects or a power plant's control system. For these organizations, data absolutely cannot leave the building, and their security has to work even if the internet is down. For them, air-gapped security isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a fundamental requirement.
So, with a patented prototype and a clear market need, what comes next? Let's look at the road ahead and see how this one-person invention plans to scale up and become a global platform.
The journey so far has been incredibly fast. The prototype was built and the patent got published all within 2025. The project is now at this crucial turning point. It's looking for strategic partners and funding to make that big leap to a fully fledged global product. And the goals for that funding are super specific. The capital is needed to build a polished, professional user interface for enterprise security teams, to expand the AI models to cover even more types of threats, to navigate the crazy complex world of global certifications, and to get pilot programs launched with key customers. We'll close out the core of our explainer with this call to action from the inventor himself. It's really a mission statement, inviting partners to help him build out his vision of a platform that isn't just technologically advanced, but fundamentally trustworthy. And that leaves all of us with a final, pretty wild thought. As our world gets more and more interconnected every single day, maybe, just maybe, the most powerful defense is the ability to disconnect and fight back all on your own. It's a paradox that could very well define the next era of cybersecurity.